Hey guys, it's Mr. Patick here live from space. This week we're going to be going over integers. What's an integer, you ask? Great question. It is any whole number, whether it's positive or negative. So 8, 10, 12, negative 1 million, any whole number that's not a fraction. Now before we keep going, I'm still missing some multiplication work from some of you guys. That is due every week on the Sunday. So if you didn't turn it in before Sunday, it's late. I have to take points off unless you email me, tell me something's going on, and we'll go back and I'll give you a better grade. But like I was saying, it's hard to breathe with that on. This week is integers. So an integer, like I said, is any whole number, whether it's positive or negative, no fractions. In the next couple of weeks, we'll deal with fractions, but right now it's whole numbers. So we'll do some examples together of some integer addition and subtraction. So the first one, 8 plus 4, is just a standard 8 plus 4, which is 12. 8 minus 4 is 4, but you'll notice different from the work you've done before, we can now have a smaller number before the big number. So 4 minus 8 is a negative 4. So now we're going to start getting negative answers. The next one, negative 4 minus negative 8. Any two negative numbers that you see like this, what I always tell my students is look at it as though it's temperature. So if it's negative 4 degrees out and it gets negative 8 degrees colder, add these two numbers up and then put a negative. So negative 4 minus 8 is a negative 12. So if it's negative 4 degrees and it gets 8 degrees colder, add the two numbers, put a minus sign in front of it. Now the next one you'll see 8 minus, and then in parentheses, a minus 3. Two negatives equal a positive. So these two cancel out and become a positive. So it goes 8 plus 3, which is, wait for it, 11. That's right. The next one is negative 8 minus a negative 8. So that would be minus 8 plus 8. So negative 8 plus an 8 gives you a 0. So negative 8 minus 8 is a 0. Two negatives equal positive. You're going to have to do that throughout the worksheet this week and probably some next week when we start doing some division and multiplication. So to recap, 8 plus 4, 12, 8 minus 4, 4, and then we start getting into negative numbers, which is numbers less than 0. So 4 minus 8 is a negative 4. Negative 4 minus 8, remember I have two negatives like that, look at it as temperature. So it's negative 4 degrees, it gets 8 degrees colder. It actually is negative 12. 8, and then you see two negatives, there's my son. You see two negatives, that becomes a positive. So you go 8, we have an alien creature in the orbit. So an 8 minus a negative 3 is 8 plus 3, which is 11. And then a negative minus a negative. On this one, it's the same number, it's going to equal 0. Now with 0, you don't have to put a positive or negative number. And any positive number, you don't necessarily have to put a positive in front of you or in front of it. I know on one of the worksheets it says like positive 10 instead of just 10. Just know if it's a whole number like this, like an 8 for instance, and it does not have a negative in front of it, assume it's positive because it is. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm still missing some work from last week. I wanted to clarify. I want you guys to get good grades. A lot of it is just participation. Starting in 2 weeks, I'll be grading you on your actual answers as opposed to just turning it in. So I'll need to see correct answers starting in 2 weeks. Also inside of this week's lesson, there's a video. and there's a picture that you can print that has the positive and negative rules. So just a quick reminder, a positive equals a positive. If you have a positive number and a negative number, the sign will be what the biggest number is. So if it's 30 minus, let's say 31, 31 is bigger and it has a minus sign in it, so your answer is going to be a negative number. So the bigger number sign is the sign that you're going to use. So for instance, we'll do another one, 100 minus 205. Your answer, because 205 is bigger and it's a negative, your answer is going to be a negative number. And in your calculators, if you need to use one, you can actually write it in as 100 minus 205, and the calculator will give you a negative number. Now, these aren't too hard, so I expect you to do the math on paper or in your head and not on the calculator. If you really need a calculator, fine. But on these worksheets, I need you to show me the work. So if you need to put one number on top of the other one and then the line and then show me where you did your work to get your answer, that's fine. If you need to do a calculator, let me know. Also this week, I've noticed since we started, I've been getting less and less participation in Prodigy. Prodigy isn't for a grade per se, but you do get participation points. And I'm not looking for correct answers. I'm looking for you to answer questions. So I want to know that you're at least trying. So if you do 100 and you miss 99 of them, I don't care. As long as you're trying and then you read when it gives you the correct answer, you're actually learning from it. You're not going to get a grade, but I will give you participation points. And I can see every question you answered, and I can see if you guessed, how long you took on each question. So really take your time and do the best you can. This week and for the rest of the school year, Prodigy is going to be a lot easier than it was the first 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks was 8th grade stuff that you all had never seen before. Now we're back into 6th and 7th and 8th grade stuff that you have seen before. So it should be easier. Before I blast off here, the secret word this week is Neptune. I need you to send that to me. You can email me, put it on the post wall, or you can write it on one of your worksheets and send it to me that way. Again, this is Mr. Patick. Any questions, please don't hesitate to email me, message me on there. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And good luck with integers. Make sure watch this video first, then watch the second one, and then you'll have a picture with the rules for positive and negative integers, and then the worksheets are all yours. Again, secret word, Neptune, do Prodigy. Have a great week. See you guys next weekend.